Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gears Pro League Split 3, day number 1. I'm Taylor Reflections, double joined by Guy Blaze. Second series about to be underway. Rebel versus RushieZ. This is going to be an excellent one. It's got a lot to live up to. The other series had a lot of issues, but a lot of exciting moments too.
Yeah, they definitely did, okay? And so we'll hope that for our last two series of the night, what? They're clean, okay? They're going to be clean. No more 3-hour series. But even if we do, we got 4 exciting teams that are about to play to kick off this day. Now, focusing in on RushieZ versus Rebel, we saw both of these squads go at it during the major, and Rebel looked like the best version of themselves. Even though they fell short, they were a few plays away from making it there towards the winners finals to fight for their place in the grand finals and get that spot for LATAM, but it was a short falling. So I want to see how they're going to bounce back. We saw Demon tweeting that, hey, you got to lay it all on the line, okay? Give it everything in which you got. We're going to see if they can do it up against this RushieZ team.
And I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on Demon tonight because, again, that tweet meant a lot to me. He's seeing this as an opportunity to go out strong, go out fighting. And, again, we know the storyline. Latin America hasn't won a major yet. They've got 2 more chances to do so. So they're going to be taking this very seriously. And I know Identivez was taking that loss seriously after the winter major. He messaged me and, he said, look, we lost composure and we got to work on that. So even he is seeing adjustments that need to be made. But no changes here. All of our top 5 teams in Pro League did not make changes. So same roster that you expected from Split 2 into Split 3. Identivez, Crack, Demon, and Xploidz. Xploidz was the new addition in Split 2, and I think he adjusted quite well. The way that he can maneuver with the sniper and power weapons makes him so deadly on this roster.
Ooh, it really does, okay? This entire team, when it comes down to power weapons, you don't want to give them anything for free. You don't want anything on the map against them. You want to have to force them to have to play with their base weapons as long as they possibly can and force them to have to make those placements, especially in Escalation. But if the weapons are already on the map and you got to fight at 50-50 for them, it's going to be hard. And that's what makes them so good at execution as a unit. Now, we'll see how... I'm pretty sure we're going to see plenty of those power weapon plays, but I want to see them in control, be super polished today, all right? I want to see them in control with those base weapons, play quick and decisive, but also have a lot of patience, too. Make the fight as hard as possible for their opponent to have to break their defensive setups. I'm speaking about Rebel. If they can do that, I feel like that'll take them to the next level as a team.
Yeah, because when I think of patience, I don't really think about Rebel being the poster child for patience, right? But if they can learn that, they can become well-rounded and truly be deadly and dangerous. They've got to change something. Yeah. They haven't, been in grand finals yet. Why is that? Well, they've got to figure that out. Maybe patience is a key ingredient to finding success, But takes 2 to tango. Let's look at our other dancer. We have RushieZ on the opposite end. A roster that got first place in Pro League last split. RushieZ, Avexys, DeTox, and INZEM. Again, no changes here, but you got to be asking the question, Avexys, no championship either for RushieZ. Despite being close multiple times, he still hasn't been able to get over that hump. Now that he knows there's 2 majors left, I guarantee you he's going to be playing with all of his ability as well.
Oh, he is. This whole squad, okay, they want another chip, all right? And I know Avexys want to get up there and he want to be able to say he got one before this was over with. Honestly, this team right here may have the most to give in our remaining 2 splits, okay? We may see them take themselves to a level in which we have not seen, which is actually kind of scary, right? And I think that's going to be dependent on INZEM just getting more mesh with this core 3. And they've been doing a good job. He's been on this team before. Now, this man on your screen, he already got a lot of chips in his favor, okay? The only person on the team with those championships. And you're going to have to look at him. Look at those control captures, okay? First in the league. And I talk about his impact that he has for any roster that he plays on in control. And he is the guy in which you have to watch out for. He is always behind you. He's in front of you. He's around you. He is everywhere. And he is the X factor for the squad. That's RushieZ.
He is. And on the battlefield, I've seen him multiple times hiding in the shadows. Like, he loves to do that, come up behind you and take you down before you even know he's there. Or when you do find out, it's a bit too late. Control captures, that's an interesting stat line. We don't really look at that, right? But why is it impactful on this roster for RushieZ and impactful in general? Well, it means that every single time a heal is up, he's going to be there. You got to be on the lookout. You always know every heal that's in play for control, you're going going to have to deal with RushieZ. And that's not an easy thing to do. So that's one factor that you're going to have to get around. In this case, that's what Rebel is going to have to get around. But let's move into it, Blaze. Let's look at our bans for the series. And all off the rip, we got District Control being out of the way. Rebel says, I don't want it. And you know, that's interesting because they're not a bad District team.
Yeah, they're not, but RushieZ is really good on that map as well. So I can understand them not wanting to go there. RushieZ is really scary on that map. So that's a great ban. Not wanting to deal with Spire Control. I do think that's going to be one of Rebel's better control maps out there. On the flip side, the Executions of Fear is banned by RushieZ, and then you got Execution being banned out by Rebel. So, you know, I don't know. I think that one could have got through, but Rebel, they don't want to deal with that. And then last but not least, no Training Grounds Escalation will be played.
Which is interesting because
no sniper
that
down low. Yeah, no sniper down low.
And you already knew. See, Rebel loves that. But Harbor, that's a fun one. RushieZ and Rebel are two exemplary teams on Harbor. So that is going to be a fun one. And Rebel picks it. So you know what? They're like, all right, we're going to come at you on your best map. I love seeing Harbor in the rotation because we hardly see it at all. It's normally just Fastcar, sometimes Training Grounds, but never Harbor. But it has been picking up in popularity. But Reactor Control, that has been Rebel's bread and butter for the longest time. So they get two maps that they are really good on.
Yeah, they do get two maps. And I like this cycle. You know, I like this cycle more for RushieZ than between the two, between both these squads. But you know, Rebel, if they can take that first control, I got a lot of faith on them for Harbor. And honestly, Clocktower, I think both of those maps they can pull away in a 5-game series if they want to be able to take this one out. But hey, you know, we'll see what's gonna happen in this series. And so I'll go into my predictions too as well because both these squads, man, we've seen Rebel on the up, getting better as a unit. And like I said before, I think we saw the best version of themselves at the last major. And today is going to let me know how they've been building off of that in the offseason, especially with the news in which we have, right? Yeah. Now, on the other end, RushieZ has been really consistent. And that last split was INZEM's first split back, right? And they got as good as they could get as a team. I think after getting that one under his belt, he's back to form. And that's going to make RushieZ a scarier roster, right? So coming in here day one to kick off the league, who's going to be the better team? I got to go RushieZ today, okay? I think they're going to be it. They're the ones who I feel like they got everything, pieces to the puzzle. They're coming out on top. And yeah, you know, Rebels, they're going to have to play quick and win these controls if they want to beat them.
All right, fair enough. And good, you know, justification. Like, how can I argue with that? Yeah. RushieZ, I'm going to be honest, is I think they really are the favorite team in this series. I can't lie to you. But my gut is also saying Rebel is going to win this because they understand the weight of the last two majors that are about to be before them. Identivez, again, reaching out saying, we lost composure. There's really no excuse. We're going to come back even stronger and make Latin American proud. That speaks volumes about him. We've talked about him at times, you know, maybe slacking off a bit, maybe not being as passionate about the game. I think his passion has come back, and that is shown in the way that he plays. Plus, Demon saying he's just going to put it all out there and really bring his A game. I think Rebel is going to start and finish very strongly, not only in this series, but also for the rest of Split 3. So I'm going to go with Rebel here. And you know what? I don't ever go with Rebel plays. I really don't. Like, I do sometimes, but I got to say, Identivez has really made me a believer in this roster. And great guy. And I'm going to back him up this time around. And I think Rebel is going to be the favorite team here, even though I think RushieZ is probably the better team. At least they have been in the past. But what Rebel will we see today? I think we're going to see a new era of Rebel, putting a lot out there, a lot of pressure. I'm really hoping that they live up to it. But chat, who are you going to go with? Be the tiebreaker. Are you going Latin America? Are you going in a Rebel or RushieZ? Both are good picks and both are fan favorites, but you're going with Rebel. Not a big surprise. Latin America likes to represent. But Blaze, that means you're by yourself.
Yeah, I'm by myself on this island, you know, and chat, I thought y'all were smart. You know, I thought y'all were going to go with me.
Oh, they are. You stop that.
Hey, you know, you guys are handsome. Okay, handsome. Y'all got all the brains in the world, but this is a close series.
I ain't going too far.
I was literally leaning into Rebel's favor as well, but I'm like, are they going to show up on day one? You know, I saw the tweets. I know how they feel, you know, but I'm just going with history. I need them to prove me wrong today.
All right. And BFL saying reflections, rise flections. He hasn't seen it yet. He hadn't seen the Rebel pick yet. Hey, no Rise Flexions today, all right? He comes out every once in a while, but today, it's Rebel Flexions, all right? It's just the best I got for you. We got map 1 coming up, Reactor, Rebels' best and favorite map when it comes to control. And what a victory this would be for Rise if they can come out the gates and take their favorite map. This would be big for them because we also have Harbor map number 3, and that's where Rise is going to feel comfortable just as much as Rebel. I would say Rise is a better Harbor team, but we'll see how well they're going to be playing tonight. INZEM's going to get the first Torque Bow. Rise, or excuse me, Rebel, they'll get the first points.
Yeah, that's a big battle being won there by Rise to kick this one off, Taylor, as they got control of the mid-map and they got sightlines on this hill, but a battle on the outskirts. That's a big name from Demon. He saves his teammate who was about to get taken out there. RushieZ still alive. He's trying to move back into the fray, but he'll be going back to the respawn instead, and INZEM posted up mid-map with DeTox, just trying to hit a bow in opening for his team.
INZEM trying to search for one. Demon, Xploidz, who's it gonna be? Maybe neither, but good splash damage. Xploidz is back, plus you got the shock, and DeTox is on. Oh! DeTox is down. Oh no! Terrible situation. Xploidz does get finished off, but DeTox surely wasn't thinking that he would die off in that moment, but he actually does because he gets blindsided by the shock. Avexys, though, wins the fight, and that's going to be a couple of points going to the way of Rise. And I really mean that only, well, actually 1 point, not even a couple of points. So we'll stay 42-3. We're focused on next.
And when it comes down to next, it's going to be Rebel, who have the spawns blocked off currently. As Rise, they got to push through each level of this defense, starting with Xploidz, as he's going to be closest to him. This is going to be a flash, but we'll see how this flash gets banked. And he is just spamming that reload, waiting for that active. All right, waiting for that active.
He really is, man. Crack doubles back. RushieZ is there. We talked about him. RushieZ, a guy that's consistently in hills. He was #1 stat leader when it came to, obviously getting in hills over in control for split number 2, and he's looking to do just the same here. Xploidz does got to be careful. He's focused on INZEM, but does he know player 2? Yeah, there it is. RushieZ again. RushieZ is always there, just like a drill sergeant. I'm telling you, brother, you can't escape him.
Can't escape him at all, okay? He knows where he can apply the most pressure, where he can make his opponents feel uncomfortable, and he is able to get two kills there. Moving on over towards next, the Lance of Fire comes out. A little blind fire secured it down, but that's a kill cleanup. His teammates will take the lead, and that's going to be Rise, able to get into P2 and get set up. They got only one player around them, and they know that. They says, hey, take our numbers. This is 3v1. He doesn't sit here for free.
And he shouldn't sit there for free anyways, and Identivez will fall. DeTox will go and stagger him out. Avexys with the Torque Bow, looking to aim one up onto Crack, who's just up ahead. This would be a magnificent shot, but he's forced to just send it flying onto the ground. No worries, 2 more still that he can use for the future. Scrap time's going to be given up shortly. They do leave player 2 behind to kind of bleed it dry, at least get the score line back in their favor. So now it's 54-53, and we're moving to P3. Nades are out. Beautiful shot from Avexys. That connects on the Xploidz, and that gives now the man advantage to Rise. And, well, it's going to be evened up now, 2-2. Rise is actually going to be inside the hill, sitting pretty for the time being. And look at this push from him. Teeman has everybody from Rise right in front of him.
Literally the entire squad trying to chase him down, and he almost made it out. His teammate almost saved him as well, but no revive coming through, and that's going to be Rise. Okay, rotating towards P3. They win that first team fight, and now they're going to be at the point of kind of thriving. Well, you know, they survived that first hill, and yeah, now they're thriving as they're just building up their lead. But this next team fight will really sort them up into a big enough lead for them to be able to rotate these hills a lot earlier and get some peace of mind. 3 members of Rebel trying to come up the stairs. Rise hitting some solid shots. They forced it down, forced Rebel to be uncomfortable. You see how Avexys spreads out wide, doesn't give his opponent the fight that they're looking for, and maybe he overstayed his welcome a little bit too longer, was hoping to get that Lance of Fire from his teammates. INZEM almost didn't make it out. He can't go left, but he had no other choice, Taylor.
RushieZ now the only one to fend off this attack from Rebel, and he put up one hell of an effort. He nearly got that. But you know, a dollar short, and that's is what it is. Demon rotates up, takes down Avexys, or takes down DeTox, excuse me. Avexys follows suit from Crack just a little bit earlier. RushieZ still with the lead so far, but Rebel is starting to mount up some map control. Identivez says, get out of my way, man. Why are you bumping into me? Stays in the corner and gets RushieZ as well. Crack will get the finish onto him, so he feels as if sending a bow to the ground to get that cleanup was more important than saving it for the next hill, but to each their own. 60 seconds, Rebel should recover at least some of this deficit. Will they recover the lead? I'm not so certain.
Oh no, I'm not sure if they can. They got plenty of time on the clock to do so, but here in this fight, it's gonna be Rebel. As they finally got on RushieZ, pressed back a bit, and they got this bow to their name. They're able to get these downs and get some mid-map control. So they do have a great chance of finally getting that lead back, Taylor. It's RushieZ who waiting for their players to come off the respawn. They can't lose INZEM in this situation. He'll stay tucked away. No one would challenge him. And now we got a matchup across the board. Man, oh man. And with the focus, is Demon going down first. RushieZ goes down second. But in the end, it's so far going to be Rebel connecting with their shots. They get the kills. There's the pinch. There's the cleanup, Taylor. And so, lead change officially comes through. Rebel, they're trying to dash and take the spawn, but they don't get it. RushieZ, if they stay composed, they hold exactly where they are.
But they still have a man advantage over on this end. Player one will join. So now it's going to be a 3v3. There was a short period of time where they could have pushed RushieZ and Avexys, but DeTox did set up and Lancer dropped one from Rebel and effectively stopped the push. So RushieZ is deep in this corner, and he's going to try and just maintain that Lancer shot as long as he can. And any amount of damage is going to help. I mean, case in point, Avexys getting the chunk onto Xploidz from that distance. And also Identivez falling as well. And this is nice to see. RushieZ focus firing, team firing. This is what made RushieZ so strong back when Friend was on that roster. We did see RushieZ get way more aggressive when DeTox joined into the mix, and I think even more aggressive still when INZEM came back into play. But now we're seeing kind of remnants of RushieZ's old style of play, where they just team fire, they're set up heavy, they play as one cohesive unit. That's going to win them a championship.
And this fight is so far away from the hill, but both squads understand how important the positioning is, and that you have to rotate from that side of the map to get control over the spawn, so you don't have to play from downhill. INZEM's locking this area down by himself, just from the little slight height advantage that he has at the post. So RushieZ, they got blessed with some spawns. I got to be honest with you. Those spawns were super clean for them to be able to get this perfect setup. That perfect setup that they just had. Now they're moving on over towards next.
Moving towards next. INZEM has a great angle here. Demon and Identivez are so focused on RushieZ as they should be. But surprisingly, a surprise nade comes through, gets a double kill on INZEM and DeTox, but RushieZ still has a chance to recover, and he will recover. That nade should have dismantled RushieZ. Instead, RushieZ makes a key play and puts his teammates back into the fight. But will it be short-lived? I don't know. RushieZ Avexys putting up a hell of a fight. They are taking on the entire roster from Rebel. This is the second time they have had to fight against him, and RushieZ did everything in his power to stay alive as long as he could. It to the point where he was on his third down and out and ended up getting finished off. RushieZ is fighting super hard. Rebel, though, pushing them back. Might see them take the lead once again, but INZEM is being a nuisance on the outside.
Oh, INZEM with a beautiful chunk on Xploidz. He backs up, plays his life. He's now going to be on the flank and gets another kill. Well timed from him. Avexys wasted no time getting in Demon's face. Didn't even want him to get the call out. He played it so fast, but that's a smart move from him. Now RushieZ, you see how to keep on pressing, say who want it, and say, okay, you guys got the setup, we'll let you have it.
Sometimes you just got to concede, man. If you see that setup, you're like, you know what, maybe...
Oh, he gets to me.
A good, he actually, he makes the heroic play and makes it happen. RushieZ is on fire, bro. Like 12,000 damage, 12 kills. Blaze, RushieZ is doing a little bit of everything.
You know, you almost, think that we talked about it, or we call him a jack of all trades, the X Factor. You can call him a lot of things, but one thing is that's true. You can definitely count on him when the time comes. And the RushieZ fans, man, they love to see him on the map and how he's playing. Now, it's RushieZ up by 40 or so. We're rotating towards the center line hill, where it's going to be RushieZ, well, not set up first, but it's going to be Rebel who is set up first as we start to to approach this one. But RushieZ, they're picking up some kills, trying to. They lost 2 members. Yeah.
160. Crack's gonna be rotating out now. Crack's gonna be joining his roster with that torque bow. 1 to his name. When you've got 4 members pushing you, connecting on any member is going to be huge. But he's put. Oh, what? Oh, there's another torque ball in the. Excuse me. Crack also. Oh, Crack has a. Did he just randomly send it? Either way, big nades come out from INZEM. Xploidz Identivez will fall. Crack is also gone, and RushieZ, their retake ability has been super strong. You wouldn't be able to tell necessarily by the scoreline because it's so close, but RushieZ is pretty consistent with breaking the hills, and RushieZ is a big reason for that with 14,000 damage, 13 kills to his name. DeTox, though, you took a look at him just a second ago. He's got, what, like 11 assists, 13 assists. He's putting that damage again. That's RushieZ, team firing together. Rebel now are putting, at least pushing as individuals inside the hill. They're not getting very far.
Yeah, not getting too far. Now, they're going to have to try to group up, get their focus fire in, and play as a unit, but Rebel does understand, you know, the individual plays that can be made sometime to, you know, stagger deaths and catch their teammates off guard, but you know, RushieZ aren't fighting any 1v1s, all right? They have been there in every single team fight to help each other, so that's kind of problematic from Rebel with them feeling like they're playing from behind, trying to have to make that big play. Identivez just gave him 1 to work with. Now he gave him another one to work with.
Nice. 1 more that he can still use. 1 more that he must use, but he'll have a chance to go ahead and reconvene. Yeah, he's going to save it. Because RushieZ ended up dying there. So now you got RushieZ who's got to cover a large gap. And I like Rebel's defensive setup. And RushieZ might be backing away or at least trying to find a bit of an off. You can't back away. It's 50 seconds. But they spread themselves out quite a bit, Blaze.
They do. RushieZ knows that from here, they'll go back towards the center line hill. They're trying to cut them from all different angles. The third player got bold. So Rebel, they're comfortable. They know that they got numbers on every side of the map. They got a 2v1 down low, a 3v2 up top. Sorry, a 2v2 up top. Here comes the reinforcements, but will RushieZ be able to make the play in time? If they were able to isolate that 3v2 fight, but the kills all go in favor here towards Rebel.
Well, for a short period, though, still, Rebel is pushing back and the team pickups are in, so it's still a scrappy fight without question. 18 seconds remain, so fighting for scrap time at this point. Avexys, nice movement, great shots, gets a 2-piece on the Crack and Xploidz, and that's going to give RushieZ the opportunity to be at 250, just at 250, but still a tight scoreline, 250 to 226. This would be a big map for RushieZ to win, and could very well decide the series right here, right now, to be honest with you. That's how impactful this map is for RushieZ in terms of a victory, but either way, it's still too close to count and too close to call. Rebel,
yeah,
on the outside looking to push through. RushieZ, though, laying down the Lancer fire.
RushieZ in that last hill played it so well because they contested as long as they did, which was impressive. Rebel got to learn how to finish those fights a little bit quicker when they get those first bloods. They can't get a kill and wait for the perfect opportunity. They have to create that themselves with the numbers and the angles in which they have. When they extend these fights out super long, RushieZ figures out a way how to, you know, out damage them. You know, get that down and get in there and get the kills in which they need, because Rebel has, you know, they have rotated early to set up on a few of these hills. They just haven't been good at holding them.
They haven't been, and that's coming to bite them right at this point in time, and to the point now where RushieZ actually might win this depending. Identivez is a beautiful shot, but it's not done yet. You still have DeTox who's on the outside, and Identivez goes for the push. Good kill onto DeTox. Now, Avexys on the outside. They're just going to dance around. They're going to try and just keep this hill contested as long as possible, be a nuisance, wait for respawns to come back into play. But Identivez continues to stay alive. And you're right, he should have pressured up, or at least his teammates.
He got help, though. He got help. As long as they don't let him get a kill. But, you know, that player was 99, but he knew who he was going up against, right? He knew he was fighting INZEM, so he says, you know what? Even though you got 1% health, I know that I'm weak enough for you to get a one shot on me.
Oh, nice shot. Takes down DeTox. But Avexys winning the middle position is huge, because now he's got a lot of he doesn't know to the left, though. He's going to get blindsided here. Surely he dies. He doubles back. INZEM is going to be shoulder to shoulder with him. Rebel has real estate inside of the current hill. Thing that they've got to be careful with now is RushieZ, as I was going and saying, they have control of mid, so they're going to consistently be able to Lancer down. Rebel can't comfortably be in the hill because they're going to be peppered by DeTox and RushieZ, who's on one end, and then you got middle. So you got to fight for it, and that's exactly what Rebel's going to be doing. Avexys needs to win this. Avexys might be able to win this now with RushieZ joining in. Demon and Crack are about to get off angled. Avexys can't get it because the meat shield, but he finally gets it, and that right there was massive, but he dies in the end, and Rebel still has the hill.
They still got the hill, but they don't got the lead, Taylor. And it came down to that scrappy fight. It was a 2v2 fight in middle for the longest time, but Rebel had, you know, won their numbers down low, so they collected time off the entirety of it. So it's not the entirety yet, but from the beginning of the hill at least. Now with a new set of bowls from Identivez, who has been hitting a lot of big shots for his team, this may be the comeback that Rebel need with the lead change.
All right, will RushieZ be able to close it out, or will Rebel be able to do it? It's 288 to 288. We've seen one 300, 299 already today. Will this one end in the same fashion? Well, it might very well come down to these series of kills. You got a big flank that's coming through. RushieZ knows going to be able to close it out, and INZEM on that flank seemed to be the winning factor. 299 to 288. Crack will fall, and 300 to 288 is where the buck will stop, and RushieZ will take map number 1.
Yeah, they get it done. It looks scary a bit for RushieZ there at the end as Rebel started to form that comeback, but RushieZ, they were able to knuckle up and lock this map down. That's RushieZ. We talked about him before the game started, and he is your damage leader to kick that one off. 17 kills and 17 assists to his name.
Yeah, RushieZ was fantastic. MVP for a reason. And I love the fact that we looked at his stat line, and most importantly, that he was #1 with getting inside the hill on control. And that proved to be just the same here. I mean, he had 17 caps, 5 breaks. He was always there, Blaze. He was always in the hill, or always around the hill, or always in the shadows.
Or the last one left alive.
He's a flex player, or the last one alive. And that plays a big mental battle with you if you're on the opposite team, because it's like you got 3 members that, okay, we can see them, we know what they're up to, but where's RushieZ? They never knew where RushieZ was because he was always everywhere.
Yeah. No, RushieZ has some of the best routes in the game when it comes down to moving around the map and setting them up for positions and flanks and power positions. Like, he know where he needs to be at all times. So, you know, this was a big double. The first one we saw him get in the game, it was super easy. But, you know, we may even see a few more of them. You know, it's going to be his montage here on the highlights. But, you know, RushieZ taking his map, I feel like it was super important for him. You know, we call them the Kings of Control.
Yep.
They're going up against Rebel on one of their better control maps. And, you know, it was close. But RushieZ, once they had the lead, they played the fundamentals very well. And they were able to, you know, utilize those numbers, utilize that time and that hard work that they put on early in the map to close it out.
Absolutely. This map was huge for RushieZ. Not because RushieZ can't win this series or at a disadvantage in this series, but they took one of the best maps for control for Rebel. And that already sets the precedence that this series might be theirs. This map, in my opinion, meant more for RushieZ to win than it did for Rebel, per se. I think Rebel still was going to have a challenging series, even if they win map number 1. But now that RushieZ wins map 1, I think their job just got a little bit easier. And now they're going to be moving into Tomb, which, you know, Blaze, we've seen RushieZ play Tomb exceedingly well.
We have. When it comes down to it, you know, RushieZ, they have a huge threat with DeTox up top and Avexys close to him as they work together. And then down low on that bottom portion of the map, you know, RushieZ, he loves to own that torque both sides. So, you know, their team comp works out for them, and they're a great execution team. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I feel the same way about Rebel. You know, executions for both these squads is 50-50 in my book, especially depending on the map.
True. And Tomb is just one of those that we got a lot of pop-up players for Rebel as well. You've got Demon, who we know is just fantastic with the torque bow, and he's going to be fighting on that side. Xploidz, you give him a sniper, it's pretty much GG from that point forward. And, you know, you're also going into a map that you got a lot of individual, you know, obviously slaying power. Your lanes are going to be solid. You already know that. but you also didn't take a huge beating on map number 1. It ended 300-288. So a 12-point loss, not too crazy either. The mentality should be great for Rebel, but I'm going to stand by it. I think RushieZ still winning that map number 1 put them at a distinct advantage in the series. Yeah. The Rebel's going to have to fight extra hard to come back. But these next 2 maps, I mean, they could win. They're good on both these next 2 maps.
They need to, okay? They need to win these next 2 maps. I don't know my confidence on them on Regency control, but we got a masterclass on that map in the last series, but we also know that that's everybody's better control map, okay? So you got to give Rebel a chance there in that map number 4. So these next 3, they got to figure out a way how to at least get 2 of them, and it's looking good, but RushieZ, as they have that 1 map lead, they're going to start playing a little bit looser, a little bit faster, with more confidence, understanding after getting that intel over 2 maps or over that first map, on how Rebel's playing. And if they feel like on a personal level, if they're winning those shotgun fights, this is just going to get scarier.
Well, who is really winning the shotgun fights? It seems RushieZ is there, but we've also seen great moments from Rebel. But really, that last map, I mean, we talked about RushieZ and their ability to set up and not really let go of the hill, but also break the setup of Rebel pretty consistently, to the point where RushieZ, they would just walk into a hill and take it. So who is really, in your mind, like outslaying and shining in the shoddy department?
Right now for RushieZ, I gotta go INZEM and RushieZ. I gotta go for both of those guys from that first map. I think they're gonna be threats and they're gonna be menaces going into the second map. Now, on the flip side, who has to step up and counteract them? Anyone on that Rebel team. Okay, we'll see who's gonna be in that positional in their positions when we go to Tomb, because we know that Tomb is a map that's spread out pretty much in 4 single lanes. Okay, but those are the 2 members of RushieZ that I feel like in this series right now that you have to shut down. RushieZ and INZEM going into this map. But, and that's off their last performance of winning shotgun fights. Now, coming into this map, they may play a little bit more passively in their lane. So, for this one, going into Tomb, Avexys and DeTox, the opposite two, as they play like that mid-map in that high area, I'm looking at them to really get some of these opening kills on Tomb for RushieZ to be, to continue their success. And we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, Avexys is pretty good and known for getting those opening kills on Toon specifically, if we go for the standard, 4v4 mid battle. If I'm looking at Rebel, you said anybody to shut down, obviously RushieZ and INZEM. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Identivez played very well. 19 kills in the last map. I think he pulled up and did what Identivez has been consistently doing throughout Split 2, and even now obviously exemplified in map number 1. And that's pulling up and tying up all the loose ends, if you will. But that's what you expect from a veteran such as Identivez. He has taken the game seriously, and that's represented in the way that he plays. One guy that definitely needed to step it up was Xploidz. I mean, he only had 16,000 damage. He went 14 and 16. Didn't have that many star-studded moments either, right? And that's something that Xploidz has to battle against, because is Xploidz a great team, support player? I don't know. Is he a great slayer? He can be, but where he excels is with power weapons. But he didn't have that opportunity to do so because Identivez was consistently getting the torque bow. I think Xploidz' value is fantastic on execution, but I guess we needed to see more from him from that map number 1. But I don't know. It was so close that it's just a toss-up.
Yeah, it could come down to, fights here and there. And Xploidz, I feel like his value for me is, well, his ultimate value should be his speed. Okay, his speed, the speed in which he can get to those front spawn fights and take them, the speed in which he uses his power weapon, the speed in which he is blocking off angles. When he is playing at that pace, he will force his opponents to put all their attention on him, which should open up the doors for the back lanes, okay? He's good at, dodging damage, moving around. So he just, like, when you have that type of skill set, you just always put yourself in a position of victory. Don't die. But when everyone's focused on you, that's going to allow your teammates to, get a kill on someone's chasing you, catch someone slipping, or allow them to find an opening in one of their 1v1 positions in the later rounds, because everybody's saying, we got to focus on this guy. So his speed is his strength, no matter how he uses it.
Here we go, loading into map 2. RushieZ, an opportunity to take a 2-0 lead, leading into Harbor, one of their best maps when it comes to escalation. Demon already getting peppered up. RushieZ did that so incredibly well on Reactor, where they were just consistently team firing and playing as a cohesive unit, which you love to see. But Identivez going to get first blood on the RushieZ. Avexys is going to drop, and we have turned the table at this point. 2v1, and DeTox is now by himself. And this is a tough spot to be in, but he'll try and swing it onto Identivez. Great shots to his credit, but not going to be enough. Looked like a strong start damage-wise for RushieZ, but a stronger finish, just killing-wise for Rebel at the end.
Yeah, no, they definitely did have that stronger finish with Identivez putting out, getting those 2 kills and the majority of the damage there. He was the playmaker, so leading the troops did a fantastic job. We'll see if he can bring that same energy into the second round, as we'll see him rotate here towards the mid-map. Crack and Demon, the whole squad is here. This is 4-man towards the mid-map, but you see a slight little cutback from RushieZ there towards the middle. He has a wide angle. He lets his team know, and this is where RushieZ kind of sets the trap up. They're not necessarily moving forward, but they're funneling. You see how RushieZ has moved up towards the inside? They pinched him there towards the corner, and that's really a perfect move there from RushieZ to give his teammate the intel, saying, hey, my guy isn't here. I got the angle. Chill out. Let me just get my down and my damage, and it worked out perfectly for him.
And that was an excellent round from RushieZ, like literally flawless round. You mentioned RushieZ expertly, having that angle, making the correct callouts, and man, Rebel didn't stand a chance there. And that's the scary thing about RushieZ, is their team chemistry is on point. It always, even in the last split it was. First place in Pro League, but even now, you see it on map number 1, and you saw it in that round. That's the scary thing about RushieZ, is when their teammate or their teamwork is on point, they can beat any team out there. Good initial damage, taking down Demon, but they're back in the fight, but wasted no opportunity. It's going to be Avexys, and I feel like, Blaze, you mentioned something about Avexys during our talk before we headed into this map.
I surely did. I said that he is, even though his teammates performed really well the map before, we put a lot of emphasis on RushieZ and INZEM. And INZEM, hey, he's getting those bodies there towards the mid map, but I say you got to really watch out for Avexys here also, because when it comes down to his target selection and who he's focused on, he has some of the best awareness in the game, and he's putting damage in on the right players there mid map to put his team up early on, and then you see the speed of RushieZ able to close out them rounds. Avexys early damage. He says RushieZ pop off. They allow him coming in. Ooh, he moves in for the trade. He was able to take 1, and I think that's good for him. INZEM will get the snipe. DeTox is alive also. He may get the shot grenade.
They do.
Yeah, both these players good with the snipe, but if I'm INZEM, I'm like, hey, yo, Ant, take this. I'm gonna drop it on the stairs. Come back and get it. You don't want to give up their positioning, though. You don't want to back up all the way. You already got a player on that box, but he's gonna back up anyway.
Yeah. Crack. 2 more now that he can work with. And INZEM is going to... The good thing is INZEM and DeTox are relatively close. The bad thing is he doesn't know there's a guy right there, and that's going to be Crack, and he's going to get a great shot into INZEM. And that's why I said he didn't know he was there. So now DeTox, who was in a good spot when he had his teammate, is now in a terrible spot because he's about to get sandwiched, head blown off, and that is going to be a round for Rebel as they tied up 2-2.
Yeah, that's a great round from Rebel. They win their 2v2 battle at the bow, having one last player left alive, and even though they gave up the power weapons on the other end, they had their numbers, they slowed it down. Just with the bow alone, they were able to win it. DeTox had the nades, they had the INZEM had the snipe, but being a man down in execution could be difficult, chat. Y'all know that. Now we head into round number 5. You see Demon and Crack. They say no one's at bow. They're both for the inside. That should be a free pickup for Demon, free snipe pickup for RushieZ, and this one's gonna slow down quicker, very quickly.
Just a tad bit late, but no worries. Maybe a chance for Identivez head, just a little bit over there. You said they're pressed up. They are. Look at they are about to go for a 3v3. The only issue is that torque bow. If they can avoid that and close the gap, they could find pretty good success here. But you also got player 3 who's going to be on the cross. That's Xploidz. Demon connects. He's going to get 2 for his 1. Easy shot onto DeTox. And RushieZ's push is absolutely being dismantled. And this looks like it might be a flawless round, and it will be. Talk about getting value with the torque. Demon just connects on the 3.
Yeah, good job to him. And that's the value of that power weapon. You're going to rush by multiple players like that. Put the bow on the ground, stick 1, you may get a multi-kill. So worked out for him very, very well. And on the flip side, RushieZ with the sniper in hand, you got to slow it down and let your sniper make some plays, give him some angles. But they felt like they had an opportunity with their numbers. And sometimes, even though you're fighting a player with a power weapon, you just got to, hope he doesn't hit a shot. You still got to make the play, though.
Demon once again getting out of Avexys, though, trying to taper off the exits. And, well, to no avail, as Demon is going to get yet another connection with Torque. But Avexys might be able to make a heroic play, pushes into 2. Not going to happen. Now you got DeTox by himself, 1v3. Caveat, he does have sniper, so that's good at least. But 1v3 never easy, unless Demon sends himself flying into chunks if he connects on the wall a couple times. Nice headshot, Blaze. Might be possible, and you did say it.
I said INZEM should have just dropped the form the last round, you know? Like, DeTox does not get snipe enough, okay? Like, you know, I was spoiled one season watching him pick it up. I forgot what team he was on. I think he was playing with Shock and his boys back then, but he picked it up every time, and he put on a show for us. But this RushieZ squad, you know, you got Avexys, you got RushieZ, you know, you got INZEM who played the spot, but DeTox with the scope, they respecting him. You look out, like, he's always looking for it to hold. He's gonna create an angle. Woo. Big turnaround, catch the player in transition.
You can get Identivez here with the nade. Toss that out, reposition him.
Needs the body shot.
Oh, you gotta toss that. Nash route now. He's weak. He dies here, I think.
Oh, great opportunity. But if he doesn't miss the body shot, that's a nade out. That's a kill. That's a 1v1. You know. Yep. But instead, it's a Rebel round win. And good job to them. They've consistently been successful at the Torque Bowl over these last 2 rounds, and that's been their key to success. Getting that weapon, slowing it down. And on the other end, RushieZ, they just gotta be able to play their lives a little bit longer and utilize the free weapons that they have. But these fights, unless RushieZ is gonna send majority of their numbers down to that bowl, they're just happening too quickly for RushieZ.
4-2, Rebel leading. Demon, though, this time around, no Torque Bow for him. He's trying to get out with the sniper. INZEM will take his own Torque, and we will see a bit of a trade in roles, which you don't normally see. But either way, though, Demon with the sniper just as deadly, you have to assume. Plus, he's got more rounds to work with. So I wouldn't be too happy if I was RushieZ, but it's still a 4v4. And this is an important round for RushieZ, naturally, to keep Rebel away from that point. Taking a 2-0 lead over Rebel here would be massive, but they've got a long way to go before that's possible.
Now, 4 bowls left in the side of INZEM and 7 snipes for Demon. This neutral hill, I do believe, as we're in the 6th round, it goes back down low. It could go down low to bow. And the reason why everybody's up top, I don't think these nades have gotten acquired yet by anyone, so you gotta watch them. But in the end of the round, there's gonna be a dash down low. So DeTox is in position to possibly get those frags for a squad if he needs them to. They need to get like a mark on his sniper if they don't actually have him. And I don't see him anywhere on the board. So here they go.
Okay. Nobody moving. There we go. There we go. It's a bit shy, no worries. This overtime hill is going to be fantastic to watch. Absolutely fantastic. Xploidz DeTox having a bit of an off-angle battle. Shock out for both ends, actually. Nobody moving, so... Oh, the hill's down low. Okay, fun. INZEM might have a good, actually, opportunity here with the Torque Bow, depending.
Oh, nice shot from Demon.
Not at all.
Might get another body.
Oh no, he missed a critical shot. There's the nade that ends up coming out.
Oh, that was winnable. Yeah, no, Rebel got it. They won that. Okay, great timing to get in that hill and fight. But the remaining second, you see a 1v1, and this player on RushieZ has a right hand before the hill clicks, because it's 4v1, 3v1. Okay, there's another player behind him right there. It was close. It was close. Rebel 1 round away from get this one all tied up, and we talk about how they have to win at least 2 of these middle 3 maps, okay?
Yes.
They gotta get these if they want a chance, and so far, they've understood the assignment. Even in Tomb, I'm loving how they're switching up their strategies back and forth, focusing on a bow, focusing on a snipe, but we know Rebel, they're gonna focus on one of these power weapons off the start. Now, RushieZ can either try to be like the 200 IQ plays, right? And, he didn't even get the trade on it.
Nope.
You know, and RushieZ is trying to play their numbers and you know, take their angles because they know how aggressive Rebel can be. But if you don't get the kills, don't matter.
All right. What looked to be a great start for Rebel now turns into a potentially better finish for RushieZ. Oh, what a shot from Crack. And just like that, it's sudden death, 1v1. And he'll send one onto the ground. INZEM's forced to back away. But Crack, unrelenting, is going to continue. Baits out the snipe, gets it in his hands. That is but INZEM's pushing. The pressure's real, and INZEM wins it.
That was great. That was so great from him. He saw his opponent picking up that snipe. He walked it in towards the inside, and he said, you're going to have to hit this shot. Which was a great shot from him right there. That was disgusting.
That was. Absolutely.
This was even filthier, right? Shot. That was good, too. That was a great shot. But then this is the play. He walks up and says, hey, I just got to go. His opponent misses. You cannot allow him to regen his health at that point. You have to figure out a way to win it, and INZEM does that.
Incredible. Well done from INZEM. Maybe momentum rise needed. Demon is going to fall. If you can finish him off, the round is going to be a lot easier from that point forward. INZEM, the man who made it happen last time, looking to make it happen again in this round. He'll get first blood, followed up by Demon falling, Crack gone as well, and RushieZ has woken up as they will bring this 5-4 unless a miracle from Xploidz, which will not happen. This isn't Miracle on Ice. And 32 seconds later, we're going to a round 10 with the scoreline being 5-4.
Man, it'll be called a miracle in the ruins if it does come through here. You know, RushieZ looking to raise the dead as they were down in this map by a lot. One round away from this seance almost being complete here, Taylor. But hey, we still got a little bit more on this recipe that we got to throw down. And it starts with this round number 9 as Avexys got to focus fire on Demon. And you need a Demon for a seance, and they're looking to acquire one off the start. We'll see if INZEM can snatch his soul, and he will as he gets the first blood. Identivez next up on the hit list. Avexys gonna back up. There's the trap, and RushieZ, they're close to conjuring up something special.
I can't.
They'll get the last 2 kills, and we're at the round 9.
we're going to round 11.
Sorry,
tied up 5-5, man, and that is wild to see. But Blaze, I want to go back to one of the points you made, and I'm seeing it executed every single round now from INZEM. Capitalizing off of damage. He did it in that one round he clutches. He just did it again in this round. INZEM is on fire, and he's playing so intelligently.
Yeah. He knows the damage that Avexys putting out. Avexys is making great call outs to INZEM's like, all right, I got 1 or 2 seconds. Can I hit him? Can I get some damage on him? If I can, I'm in a good spot. With the focus fire, Crack is left out. Oh, he goes for the win. That's a big boy play. You go for the chunk rather than the down. He wasn't scared. He knew he had help. He took over. And that's going to be the map for RushieZ with the comeback, Taylor.
I can't believe it. RushieZ comes back and now lead the series 2-0 after Rebel was up, I believe, 5-2 or 5-3. I'll find out in just a second. And it was actually 5-2 before RushieZ says enough playing around and come back. And you got to give credit to INZEM, the MVP for a reason, the man with the plan, the man to make the comeback possible. A lot to break down in this one, and I got it, Blaze. I got to hear it from you when we come back, brother. But we are going to take a break, and when we do come back, Rebel, they're going to be fighting for their life in their first series in Split 3. Will they come back? We'll find out after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Gears Pro League Split 3 Day 1. I'm Taylor Reflections Double, joined by Guy Blaze. RushieZ comes back on Tomb and wins it in round 11, 6-5, to take a 2-0 lead over Rebel. And that was after they won a very close Reactor, 300-288, but close. Well, close isn't a win, all right? That's still an L. And Rebel have now got to fight back and win 3 straight maps. It's not impossible. We've seen them do that in the past, Blaze, but RushieZ just got away with a huge map number 1 and an even bigger map 2.
Boy, they was out here summoning spirits, conjuring themselves up from the dead, sacrificing demons. They were doing a lot here to rise up, boy. But you got to rise up on Tomb, and that's what they did in that round 11 victory. So, hey, they got it done, and that's what makes them so good as a squad. And we talked about composure coming in day 1. Who do we feel like was going to be ready? Who's going to be there, ready to close out? And so far, RushieZ has showed us a lot. And now Rebel gets to practice something else. Being down 0-2. They've lost like this, taking devastating losses, and how you bounce back. Now's another time to show us how they at least want to respond going into the next map. The series is a tall tale. but they have to focus at least on map number 3 and have a good showing.
That's a fact. Map 3,
and
Harbor.
They have had good showings, okay? Like, you know, it went down over 200 points in control, 5 rounds in execution, but an L is an L. So
that's what I'm saying. No matter how close it is, man. You can have the most exciting, you know, 3-0, but it's still a 3-0. You can have the most exciting 3-2, but it's still a 3-2. And if you're on the losing end, it doesn't feel good either way. INZEM was so massive in the comeback here on 2, like just absolutely massive. 4 rounds in a row. RushieZ needed to do that, and INZEM pulled up and went so big. The way that he pressured through mid, and the way that he read tough situations was truly spectacular to behold.
It really was. You know, he was really composed. He had trusted his teammates around him, and you know, and with that got them that victory. So kudos to RushieZ, and now we got to head on over to Harbor Escalation, which is a really good map for them, okay? It's a really good map for both these squads. It's going to be a Rebel map pick, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I think it's Rebel map pick. Okay, Rebel map pick. And so, yeah, man, you know, they have to have a strong showing there on that winch, but as we know, that's a RushieZ and DeTox spot, if I'm not mistaken, and they're going to have to deal with, unless they put INZEM back on the tip of the spear, which would be kind of scary if you ask me.
Might be if you put INZEM up there, but I think RushieZ and DeTox are going to be the 2 to go for the challenge on the winch. But regardless, man, Rebel, it's just, I feel like every split we talk about them, and it's just like they get so close sometimes, and sometimes they can look great, and then sometimes they can look off, and it's like, when is that cycle going to end? And unfortunately, we're starting out Pro League with it being that way. Now, granted, you can still make the argument. Look, it's been a great series. We've had a very close 2 maps. Rebel has looked incredibly strong. Yeah. RushieZ has been able to, you know, have that composure to close it out, and composure is something Rebel needs to work on. So now we're heading into map 3. This is where series can turn around. Me and you, Blaze, we've casted over many series that one team was up 2-0, only to turn it around in map 3 and then win the series. So if Rebel's ever going to do it, this is obviously it.
Now is the time, Taylor. Now is the time for them to get this one done. We know that they got it, okay? We know that they got 4 of the best players in Gears Esports, but it's about how they play as a team, and, you know, how they handle these losses as a team, and how they handle leads as a team, most importantly, because ain't nothing free in this league, okay? Ain't nothing as sweet as it may seem off the start. But if you really want a piece of that pie, if you want a slice of that cake with the trophy, boy, you're going to have to deal with some of these bitter L's first.
I love me some pie, I really do, man. Matter of fact, I need some strawberry pie, my favorite pie in the world. RushieZ indeed, DeTox carrying the torch for RushieZ on the fight, but is Rebel going to have a silver lining? Maybe, but RushieZ is looking to shut that down. Not even a narrative. You also notice INZEM took advantage, pushing into Xploidz, getting B early on. But either way for Rebel, they are going to recover. Player 7 does back up. He's going to get on to C. And look at the reinforcements from Rebel to pressure back INZEM in a 2v1.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to get that down. Chat, if you guys have ever had strawberry pie, put a 1 in there. I just want to get a head count. Now, as we got to start to see these shots.
Have you not had strawberry pie, Blaze?
I've not had strawberry pie.
Yo, hey, I'm from Kentucky. Maybe that's a Kentucky thing, but like strawberry pie, man.
It sounds fantastic. I am not even sugarcoating that one. Maybe a grape pie even be dope as well, but
a what?
A grape pie? A grape one? If you're gonna do a strawberry pie, you might as well do a grape pie too. That's how I feel about it. I don't know. Now you got me inspired to make some strawberry and grape tarts. So I'm gonna
okay, tarts maybe, but a grape pie.
A tart is a smaller pie.
Well, okay, we can be all Gordon Ramsay and whatever you want to be, but I'm just saying a great anyway. I'll send you a picture of a strawberry pie.
Yeah, you do that for
me. Putting grapes in it, which just would be good.
Yeah, we'll start with strawberry first, okay? It sounds delicious. My mind is blown, but I want you to officially blow it, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
All right,
now, crack. He's gonna be able to get these kills here towards top winch. And so far, Rebel with 2 hills to their name and that top map control, they're doing good. That kill got him with the death staggered on the side of RushieZ. And Rebel, they don't gotta move from this position. RushieZ has to play into them. Rebel can kind of sense that they're getting a little bit desperate, but they take the proper angles, they get the first down, and they should be able to clean up RushieZ without any issues whatsoever, as they get no pressure on that winch. There's the kills cleaned up down low for Rebel. This should be their round, Taylor.
Oh, Avexys, he was out for blood. I mean, the way that he moved into crack, even though he falls, though, that's unfortunate because Rebel obviously are going to win this round. Avexys is gone. He tried to make the heroic move, but would have been enough. And we're going to start this. Hey, I'm okay with it. Demon, he did say he wasn't going to be holding back, Blaze.
Yeah,
he did say he wasn't going to be holding back. But what I do know, there's a curse. If you're going to dance this early on, the curse is you normally lose. So I mean, but Demon's Demon. You know, so we'll see how it plays out.
He got to play on his own terms. Whatever he do to make him feel comfortable. Like that was the one thing. You know, when I had teams back in the day, I actually had a strong rule that we were not going to hump nobody unless we knew we were going to win. Okay, like unless
who was that?
No way
your
in
team?
hell. I said, yeah, that was like a rule I had in my team because we have humped people before and taken L's, and those are the worst L's you can ever take. You ever take an L like that, it don't feel good. So instead, you win the map and then you talk your trash. But sometimes you'll have teammates who thrive off of that. Okay, they're freaks of nature. So you know they'll be BMing people all map and they feed off of that. And you just gotta feed off of it with them. All right, gas them up. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into round number 2. We did see an explosive start for RushieZ, but a better answer from Rebel. We see the same result. Well, Demon is going to be first blooded. Crack gets stunned, and that allows enough time, but Identivez on the flank looking to disrupt RushieZ's momentum. And he did this in round number 1, Blaze, where he overextended and went home hill to home hill. He's doing exactly the same thing here. And by doing so, even though Rebel loses more members than RushieZ off the rip and Identivez falls, you still guarantee an extension to the round.
Yeah, you do. And that's exactly what you want. You know, you want to be able to stay in it, be able to have yourself somewhere to fight coming off the respawn, unless you run into RushieZ, right? Where he shuts down that angle and he's already on top of his opponent's home hill. RushieZ looking for that quick response, and it's a clean one. They got the down. They know no one is going to be close enough off this respawn. Maybe one. There wasn't much he can do there. So RushieZ ties it all up 1-1 off the back of a great initial and some big kills coming out from RushieZ.
Big kills coming out from RushieZ, and like you said, tied up 1-1. You're just joining us. RushieZ is on the precipice of winning this series 3-0. All they need to do is win this harbor, and that will be a GG. When do things start to change drastically? Now, I think I was casting with Jacob, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Jacob or it was Colin, but one of them said they absolutely hated seeing the bull talk where it currently is for Rebel.
Oh, and you know, for this, it just pretty much shows me that as we kind of head into these next 2 rounds, where the power weapon is going to be placed, these next 2 rounds have a lot more weight in it because you want to win it. Because based off where your weapon placement are, if you have the up top placement, you want a power weapon up there so you can bring your nade to the fight quicker than your opponent. If not, you want it down low in the mid map so you can still have that same effect. We'll see who will be able to set the tone of this map. Rebel, they've answered that question to kick this round off, picking up multiple kills. That will be the 3rd down, and Rebel will get 2 heals to their name. Maybe even a little bit more than that.
Oh, Avexys, though, is looking to dismantle Rebel's setup. Good shot. He's looking to capitalize. Identivez manages to get away. Ring around the road. Identivez really did not want to die there. It was kind of like a big brother chasing his little brother in the yard. But either way, he stays alive, and he's got his teammates back into play. And he also maintained the hill. But we do see RushieZ making a bit of an attempt to get onto B. They're getting the full cap. Rebel's trying to adjust, but now Avexys, because he has that off angle, look at the impact it had. And this goes from Rebel having a strong start to RushieZ looking to finish strong with the domination, and they're going to get it.
Oh boy, RushieZ coming out strong to finish this one off. One more player remaining, and they'll be able to take him out. Always ready for whatever. RushieZ, they get the 3rd round locked in, and you know, Rebel they want some bigger fights to start that one off, but you know, when it was all said and done, RushieZ, they were able to get back as a unit. And the thing is that RushieZ will get kills, and they're gonna start moving up and taking what their opponent is gonna let them have. So if you're losing teammates and you're left by your side of the map, you better take the best possible position and get close to the hill. or at least to defend your hill to buy the amount of time for those respawns to come off, to come out the spawn.
This is going to be a fun round for Rebel. They got to go against that INZEM, and that might not be easy, but granted, maybe silver lining is Xploidz having the retro, and he has been consistently fighting INZEM for the neutral. INZEMs won't play a factor here. Demon might have a chance to clap back. Crack will take his spot, but no, they're gonna get put into the blender here. Avexys has a really nice angle. I don't know what I'm talking about because Rebel's actually fighting back. Wait up a second. Avexys is up top. Crack is looking to double back. Crack will get it. I absolutely take back the blender comment. Not true. Never happened.
It never happened whatsoever, okay? Crack coming up clutch there. Now, you'll see Rebel, top control. They got their home hill. It's a tie game currently. They should be able to get the B hill. No issues with Identivez anchor down here at Winch, but RushieZ, they got some crosses here towards the middle, trying to get some creative angles, but Avexys, after RushieZ blundered with the nades up under, he tried to toss it and stop the cap, but didn't work out for him. And with Avexys going down, it's all up to DeTox.
All right, Identivez though, not going down. That man is pulling up and going big. Benefit for RushieZ though is they still have their home hill and Rebel isn't pushing. So RushieZ will have a chance to fight back here. And they've shown that, you know, when they are still on the map, anything is possible. Winning this and leading 3-1 would be pretty scary for Rebel, to say the least, but this isn't going to be an easy push up the ramp for RushieZ and Avexys. Identivez is peppering them, but then yeah, they're also having to run into Demon and yet another who's going to be over there. But slowly but surely, they actually make their way through Blaze.
Slowly but surely, they get there. Oh, a big headshot there. Owned RushieZ. Botok can't connect on Avexys, but Avexys takes one kill to the grave. You still got INZEM alive there towards the back lanes. Now, DeTox misses the 2 shots that he needed, and he's going to hear about it from Demon for a little bit, as, you know, he does have a lead, and he can take his time to show him a little bit of love. Now, at the bottom side of the winch, INZEM 1v2 situation. What a great shot, but he gets traded out. RushieZ wins his battle up top, quickly pulls out the Lancer to help his teammates in that fight down low at the winch. He'll overextend towards his opponent's home hill. This will buy his squad some time, but he needs to decap, back up, but use his flash on these players off the respawn.
Should be over with, though. DeTox was very much needing
but
to...
RushieZ is alive. Oh, not no more.
But nobody's getting to B. That's the thing. DeTox would have been the closest one, and that was, I think it was Identivez, if I'm not mistaken, lancering. By doing so, it kind of just stopped them in their tracks, and that's a solid round coming out for Rebel to tie things up 2-2. INZEM didn't have an impact at all, Blaze.
No, I didn't have an impact whatsoever. So, going into this next round, I guess this is your time to get a centerline weapon. You see how Rebel stopped their production build up, though, right?
Oh,
they said, you know what, we
shoot.
can't get a nade. We got to start building something up top just in case. Now, with this game still being at 2-2, RushieZ is not going to put any centerline power weapon down. Yeah, I see it. I see that hammer burst in play for the first time in a while. Gonna get themselves another weapon, but yeah, they can't have 2 retros on their side of the map though. So they had to really build something else there in the secondary. So the hammer burst had to go down. But RushieZ still has an advantage because they rushed that nade, you know? And this was off like Rebel won round number 1, right? And I want to say Rebel made that first place went down low, and RushieZ was like, okay. From there, they always had a little bit of a lead in this map. Now, they get some big kills here down low.
Ooh.
They'll get 2, and that quickly they're playing for the domination. Look at the speed from RushieZ. He left those players down, extending their time on a respawn, in position to cross out the 3rd, and now they're in a victory spot.
It was the speed from RushieZ. RushieZ, fortunately for him, didn't get stunned at all. So he was just able to freely push up and get that early chunk. Then one of his teammates ended up getting a chunk over cover because he wasn't stunned either. So stuns missed from Rebel, stuns hit from RushieZ. That ended and culminated to an explosive start and finish for RushieZ to once again take the lead. 3-2, win the first round of the second half. You said it was prime time or power weapon. We've yet to see it, and we're going to continue on both sides to build up the sideline weapons. Now, does the hammer burst go to an INZEM? Does it go to a shock? That's the real difference maker here. because both of them have their own place. But we're gonna have an ensign, fair enough. And,
yeah, it's gonna be an ensign. Yeah, you know, if RushieZ wins round number 3 or 4, they would have put a center line power weapon up top to try to end this game. You know, and they would have had the advantage every single round and get it for free. So, but you know, I'm happy to, you know, it's good that they bailed out away from it because they would have just put themselves in a difficult spot. So instead, it's even Stevens on the placement. A flash from Demon isn't going to connect as well as he wanted it to, but he stays alive. His teammates focused as well. Oh, good shots from Demon, though. That's a huge double from him, Taylor.
But RushieZ is here. RushieZ is back, and the heroics from Demon, will they cease to exist now as RushieZ might be able to get an angle, but Demon is holding his ground. He's got to watch out, though. INZEM is going to be off to his side, and great play from Demon. Good recovery from RushieZ. Xploidz drops down low with the retro, and you also have Crack who's going to be there. Matter of fact, make that 3 members from Rebel who's going to be mounting a push to retake the neutral. But things could get scary here. Player 3 is on the overextension, so this is a must-win fight now for Rebel.
And it starts off well with a double kill from Crack, making it triple. That's a decap, and the rest of his team members are around him. But ooh, that's a huge kill. Does he get away? Just barely. Just barely. He couldn't cap the F hill though. I know he wished he had it right now for his team, but more importantly, he kept the lead and he's drawn 2 players down towards the home hill. That's 3 players accounted for the Avexys. His team got the call out. They're not even going to second guess if they have a 3v1. Even if it's a second player in the area, they know that they do not have 3. Rebel barely gets away with their lives. And they're not going to barely. They don't even get both yet. Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, barely. Just on their back foot. And now RushieZ is in a great position, but that was a nice little route that Identivez took. Going upstairs, forcing those players to have to turn their back to the home hill player, but it was Xploidz who couldn't put out enough damage as they were running up the stairs to help out Identivez.
I'm looking at Demon to hold his ground here against player 3 of Avexys. No guarantee that Rebel gets to their home hill. Demon pushes up. He felt that angle, but Avexys sees it coming, takes him down, and now RushieZ an opportunity to be a map point, series point, and Blaze. That opportunity just became a reality. This round is 100% going to RushieZ, and they will be on map point, series point.
I wonder whenever RushieZ does that emo where he puts the hand in his head, what is he saying? Like, what is he saying in his head? Like, is he saying something like, "Oh, not again," or "Oh, man, I'm sweating in here. Oh, it's so hot."
You know when kids get overly dramatic and the parents are like, "Oh, like it's so hard. Life is so." I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that, right. That's what I'm thinking as well.
But like, Demon's been beaten down this whole game. You know what I'm saying? But Demon's also losing with this roster because it's 4-2. So
Demon's playing. You know, he's playing great. You know, he's doing good. He's getting kills, but it's a team effort. At the end of the day, there's gonna always be a team effort for Rebel. It ain't nothing individual about it. Only individual skill gets you so far. You're gonna have to make those team plays and run it really bad. Demon, he shows how much he wants it, and he says, "I can do it on my own," but we'll see how far that'll take him this round.
All right, 2-1 for Rebel. That's pretty consistent. They've been doing that quite well. Obviously, we're fighting for Snipe now for the first time. Rebel says we gotta change something. Just it's simply not working. Even though we see a series of kills and a slew of kills come out, Rebel is just now finally able to push forward. But that's not because they did anything bad. Actually, they played this flawlessly. They defended after wave after wave after wave of RushieZ members, and that shot's going to solidify. This is going to be a very quick round going to Rebel. Actually, just 49 seconds. It's not over with yet.
Not over with just yet. Not over with just yet, Rebel. They'll be able to get themselves a quick round on the board in response to RushieZ, and that's exactly what they needed. Demon's been playing fantastic. Now, as we have our snipers down towards the mid-map, we'll get our shot grenade built up finally for Rebel. You know, so when it came down to the weapon placement change, it worked out for him. But RushieZ, this is where they get to make a response now. RushieZ can do something funky and put nades up top. They can cut down the timer on their nade up there in the corner. They can go for a block to close the game out. You take the block out right here in the middle of the map because you know your opponent has to put something down later, and they're going to go for the block on the incendiary. I like that. You say, we'll play for the snipe, you know, but you guys won't have a single nade, and we'll have 2 to grab it to win the game.
Yep. 2 to grab it.
Shocking.
Rebel was just Yeah, they were just too strong. Rebel was way too strong off of that last push for Sniper. So anything you can have. Which, speaking of which, RushieZ forgoes the INZEM. Instead, they're going to take over the top side. Getting these initial kills will be massive. Sniper's going to be on the grounds, or did it get? It's still going to be. Is it on the ground there? Maybe so. It is actually.
Crazy.
But he is absolutely out. He gets away.
Yeah, he got away. He crazy though for going for that.
That was wild.
That was ballsy, and he comes out on top.
Ballsy.
They get the body on RushieZ. Oh man, RushieZ got the first blood. We never saw the shot grenade. I thought we were gonna see a shot grenade come out from afar and like kind of get tucked in that corner, but I think INZEM just kind of felt like he didn't need to use it because they already had the first blood, and I can understand that thought. I know he wished he would have just dropped it down there right after.
I can't believe like the cojones on this guy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't expect Crack to stay. You know, typically you drop out of there, you lost a teammate, you have no reason to be there mid-map, but you know, he played his timing well and he knew his surroundings. He knew no one was looking at him.
That's a great play. I mean, that was an excellent play. Xploidz through the smoke and confusion will take down one, but he'll be finished off himself. Rebel's going to take this opportunity with the man disadvantage to go ahead and send it over towards the home hill of RushieZ. The round will continue, obviously. Crack, Sniper still in hand with 5 shots. I mean, he earned it, but it's going to be a tough spot for him to be in. And Identivez now has to snipe, so Crack actually passed it over. And Identivez with his ankle could be quite deadly, but one shot's going to be missed. A lot of effort being placed, and Identivez up close to get a nice heady.
Ooh, the downs, the L triggers, the help. Oh, both those players are weak. Oh, man, he had to commit to he had one movement, right? And with those 2 players, he ended up not taking a shot, and he took 2 free shots. So he had to be committed with that wrap shot or whatever he wanted to do. Now, you saw the trip cap domination being threatened by RushieZ, but it's Demon who extends this round a little bit more. Longer than what RushieZ is expecting. They finally get the down, but they tried to cut back the revive into a chunk. DeTox gets 2.
Identivez in that spot where he clutched up during the major. I think someone's hitting him with the no-no, and this is going to be all she wrote. Xploidz, you gotta roll, buddy, but it's not going to be enough. And RushieZ will win map number 3, 5-3, and take the series by storm with a 3-0 victory.
And there's your MVP once again. It's RushieZ on there, and we know it's hot. You're sweating out here, okay? It's another day in the office. You know, but you don't got to be so extra about it, all right? It's another victory for RushieZ. They on top 3-0. And, you know, they'll shoot up to, 1-0 in the Pro League. Congrats to them.
Well, with Fury 1, mind you, respect that team, okay? They're tied up with Fury 1 at 3-0, right? So, yeah. Hey, I'm just saying it as it is.
Hey, it is.
Wow.
Right.
So, RushieZ Flexion should have came through a bit stronger today, but unfortunately he didn't. Rebel Flexions was here. And you know what? That's okay. I took a chance. I took a stand. I took a risk. Rebel did perform well. Like, let's just put it that way. But Rebel also didn't perform better than RushieZ, clearly. So a lot of work needing to be done. But Demon feeling more confident than he ever has. That man was evoing every single round.
Yeah, he was. He was taking every fight. He was taking every fight, and he was winning majority of them. And you said it well, Taylor. Rebel played well. They just wasn't better than RushieZ today.
Weren't better than RushieZ today. So, but day 1. It's only day 1. We'll see how well they're going to continue to do. But RushieZ played well. I mean, and the star of the show. Well, there's a couple, but star of the show for me has to be INZEM. INZEM, well, you have, let me select, because every time I say it, I'm like, okay, now I got to say this guy's name too, and I got to say this guy's name. So RushieZ, first and foremost, what a performance from him on Control. Like, bottom line, period, right? He was the star of the show, just beautifully done, getting inside the hills when he needed to, obviously hiding in the shadows like we expected him to. RushieZ was truly the guy to make it happen on Control Reactor. But then on Tomb Execution, INZEM stole the show. Without INZEM and his performances and his intelligence to just hold off and make pushes when he needed to, or back up when he needed to, or just play the fights like he was doing, like, without that, RushieZ doesn't win 4 in a row. We go to a map 4. Like, that's just the way it is. But here on the Harbor Escalation, RushieZ pulled up and went big. I don't know. Who stole the show for you from RushieZ on this one?
For me on this map, it was, no, it was RushieZ still. you know, it was RushieZ for me on this map as well. You know, he won some big plays for his teammates, and you know, he plays to win super well. Like the opening round, he didn't get stunned, 2 quick kills already on his opponent's home hill before he can blink an eye. Like plays like that, he know when to capitalize, and this team, they are always right behind him. So, you know, he's just consistent, and you need a player like that to be an anchor for your squad, so you guys don't really lose face, so to speak. Okay, because you know, if he ever loses his consistency, RushieZ will look like a different team, but he constantly stays up there at the top.
Well, then he's got to be MVP. Like, there's no way about it. Then if RushieZ is going to be yours for Harbor, he's going to be mine for Reactor. He's got to be MVP, you know, and RushieZ truly has been, like you mentioned it, he's been a champion before, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he wants to be a champion again before, you know, the end, or at least the current end. So 2 majors, he wants to take those majors. I don't blame him, and he's looking primed and ready to go. Well done from RushieZ, really. I can't say enough good things about him. They played incredibly well for Rebel. There's a lot of issues that need to be cleaned up. Maybe it's composure again. I don't know. I really don't know what to boil it down to.
Yeah. You know, I think that it just comes down, it's a cultural thing probably with the team. Like, they're all individually skilled, and you know, at the basic level of gears and them playing, they beat a lot of squads. But to be the best and to, you know, play and to be a champion, you just got to clean it up a little bit more. You know, they just need to give themselves a little bit more time to close out some of these rounds or close out some of these team fights. And you know, Rebel is a completely different team.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Rebel can clean up their act either tomorrow or throughout Rest Split 3. I think they'll be just fine. They played very well. We might see another divide, right? Top 5, bottom 5. We're just going to have to see. It's still too early to tell in Split 3. Well, that's 2 series down and 1 more to go. A rematch from Grand Finals of the Winter Major. United versus Kansas City Pioneers. This one is going to be an explosive matchup you don't want to miss. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, KCP United will battle once again head-to-head.